From NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. With the federal government in its first official day of partial shutdown, the Obama administration is rejecting the latest proposal from House Republicans, passing a series of targeted funding bills. President Obama today accused a small group of Republicans of shutting down the government for what he called an ideological crusade against his health care law. NPR's Maura Liasson has more.
The president was extremely clear and aggressive about what he thinks about the shutdown. He said the Republican shutdown did not have to happen. He repeated this many times. This Republican shutdown is having a bad impact on the economy. Republicans are responsible.
Obama said Republicans should not be able to hold the government hostage, and he urged them to reopen government and allow furloughed employees to return to work. Around 400,000 civilian defense workers are being furloughed as part of the government shutdown. As NPR's Larry Abramson explains, Congress did pass legislation to ensure uniformed members of the military will be paid on time.
Uniformed service members will report for duty as usual, but the Pentagon says the shutdown will erode readiness, which they say is already a problem due to previous budget cuts. In an address to the defense workforce, President Obama blamed Congress for the fact that about half the civilian workforce will not work and will not be paid.
And I know this comes on top of the furloughs that many of you already endured this summer. You and your families deserve better than the dysfunction we're seeing in Congress.
Civilian defense workers were furloughed for 6 days over the summer as a result of automatic budget cuts. Larry Abramson, NPR News.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz and other Republicans have spent the last few months trying to delay the start of the president's new health care law. But on opening day for the health care insurance marketplace, it was internet traffic that actually slowed things down. KERA's Lauren Silverman reports people in Dallas ended up filling out paper applications.
Like the others who came to sign up for health coverage at Dallas's Parkland Hospital, Luis Veloz will have to mail in his application before he can see the details. But he doesn't mind.
I'm not willing to say, maybe I'll get on tomorrow or maybe next week. I want to do it today.
Veloz, who's a student at a local community college, says he's seen what can happen without health insurance.
Unfortunately, my father didn't have health insurance. He suffered several heart attacks. My brother suffered an anxiety attack, and we ended up we're about $250,000 in debt with the hospital.
A monthly payment, he says, will be worth it in the long run. For NPR News, I'm Lauren Silverman in Dallas.
Nation's factories were expanding last month at their fastest pace in more than 2 years. The Institute for Supply Management, a key purchasing managers group, says its manufacturing index was up 0.5%. On Wall Street, investors seem to have largely shrugged off the partial government shutdown in Washington. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 62 points. The Nasdaq gained 46 points today. This is NPR. An advanced team of international inspectors and UN staffers have arrived in Syria to begin the overseeing of the destruction of the country's chemical weapons stockpile. The inspectors, part of a group based in the Netherlands, have about 9 months to find, dismantle, and eliminate the country's chemical weapons arsenal, estimated at 1,000 tons. The advanced team of 19 inspectors and 14 UN staffers arrived in Damascus today. The UN Security Council has passed a resolution calling for Syria to destroy its chemical weapons stockpile by the middle of next year. Classes have resumed on most parts of the University of California, Berkeley, after an explosion and power outage forced the evacuation of the campus Monday night. As NPR's Richard Gonzalez explains, the power outage is being blamed on the theft of copper wires from a remote part of campus.
The power outage was first reported in the early evening. 2 hours later, an electrical vault exploded when crews tried to restore power. 4 people suffered minor burns in that explosion. The campus was evacuated Monday night. Classes have yet to resume in several major buildings. Officials believe that the power outage and the explosion were caused by a theft of copper wires in an underground facility. The theft, which required the use of heavy equipment to pull the copper out, was discovered last week, but the damage was apparently more serious than originally estimated. Richard Gonzalez, NPR News, San Francisco.
A county outside Philadelphia that issued marriage licenses to 170 same-sex couples in defiance of state law isn't giving up. Democratic officials in Philadelphia's suburban Montgomery County announcing today they're appealing a recent Commonwealth Court ruling to the state Supreme Court. Litigation comes on the heels of a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that struck down key parts of the Federal Defense of Marriage Act, including declaring unconstitutional laws prohibiting federal recognition of legally married same-sex couples. I'm Jack Speer, NPR News.